Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, back again with another simple Sunday scoring project, and it's another version of the Z fold card, but I wanted to show you this lovely stamp set called Crafting Forever. Now, if you're selling any products using that's been made with Stampin' Up, you do need to use the copyright Stampin' Up logo on it, and that has it in this stamp set. But really, this is a lovely one if you've got any friends who are into sewing or crafting, painting, calligraphy. You've got something for them already. So as you can see, lovely stamp set. Comes in wood or clear mount, and clear mount means it needs to be stuck onto a block. So away we go. It's a very simple card to make, not much cutting and scoring, but I'll show you as we go along the layers, and the focus really will be on the painting of those different panels. So to start off with, you're going to need a piece of cardstock, and this time I'm using some old olive, which is 29.7 by 10.5 or 11 3/4 by 4 1/8. And you're going to score that at 5, at 9, check my measurements, at 21, and at 24.7. It's a bit of a funny one, but it just happened to work. And so in inches, that's 2 inches, 3.5 inches, 8 1/4 inches, and 9 3/4. So, having done that, we're going to fold these score lines. So, as I always say, make sure you fold in the direction of your score, because that's where you've stretched the card before you fold it back on itself, and that'll prevent the cracking that you've got. So all of those are in what we call mountain folds, so we just need to fold this one back on itself, reinforce on the other side, and the same on this back one as well, so just reinforce those. Okay, so that's the scoring done on our card, and then we're going to need some panels to layer up. So I'm using some Peekaboo Peach here, 11.5 by 10 centimetres, 4.5 by 4 inches, and I'm layering a piece of designer series paper from the Oh So Eclectic suite, and that piece of DSP, if I can keep it straight, is 11 by 9.5 centimetres, or 4 3/8 by 3 7/8. And pop that to one side. That's going to be our centre panel there. Actually, we can put that straight on. And that just sits in the middle of our card panel. I'm shedding here, must be molting. If it's not me, it's the dogs or the cats. Okay. And then we're going to do put 2 panels of cardstock on the end, again in the Peekaboo Peach, and so you need 2 which are 10 by 4.5 centimetres or 1 7/8 by 4 inches. And rather than the 1/4 inch border, I'm using an 1/8 of an inch border on this sort of small card. It's quite nice to have small borders sometimes. And I'm trying to, when I do my prep, use my post-it notes now to save me fumbling over my measurements, especially when I'm trying to give them both inches and centimetres. As I've said before, I do generally try and do them in both inches and centimetres for those who so anybody can work in them. But sometimes it just works better in other ones, and sometimes quite simply I forget. So next pieces of Whisper White are what we're going to do our stamping on. So they're 9.5 by 4 centimetres, 1 5/8 by 3 3/4. And again, you want 2 of those. So you've got a front and a back panel here. So we're going to stamp on those in just a moment. And we're going to carry on with our decoration and put our back panel on. So the same as the front panel, 11.5 by 10 centimetres. Just in the middle there, 4 by 4.5 inches. And then we've got two panels, which we've got a small panel of DSP which we can put on, and then a piece of Whisper White which we're going to stamp on in a moment. And the small piece of DSP is 2.5 by 9.5 centimetres, 1 by 3 3/4. And it's quite nice, just a little, little scrap or offcut. You don't have to use a big piece of DSP always. So that's our reverse panel. These are our two front side panels, and then we've got one more piece here for stamping, which is 7.5 by 6 centimetres, 3 by 2 3/8, which is for our focal image of the brushes. So we're going to start with that image. So I'm actually going to use some early espresso ink. Picked up the wrong pad. It just gives a slightly softer look for images. So just ink it up well, and then with this image, it literally just fits on the card. So hopefully I'm not going to be wonky. Hover. Okay, and that's worked okay. So that's our first image. Now what I've then done is I've stamped that on a scrap of paper, as you can see here, and I've coloured that in using an aqua painter and some old olive ink, and then cut it out separately. And that's just so that you get just a nice three-dimensional image, because obviously the pot would usually be at the front. But when I do images like that, where I'm sort of decoupaging something onto the top, I do like to just colour around the edge on the inside. So, and that's just so if you get any edge showing, there we go, pop that like so. And I'm just going to come in and just shade a little bit more now it's dry, just to get a little depth around the edge of the pot. There we go. And then just pop that up. I've shaped it very slightly, just using my bone folder, and you can pop that onto the top there before you start colouring in. So there's our pot. I'm going to carry on doing the stamping first, and then we can do the colouring afterwards. So the next one is our back right panel, and for that I'm using the lovely pen images. So I'm just going to come in, again hover over the top. Actually I didn't go straight down on that, but I've got away with it. Okay, so leave that to one side to dry. And then the other panel on the front, you'll see here, I've actually stamped the scissors in the Peekaboo Peach itself. I thought it would make a change. You don't always want, actually it wasn't just I wanted to make a change, I'll be quite honest with you. I was actually in an archery field watching my son do some archery, and I only had a limited colour palette with me, and Peekaboo Peach was one of those colours I had, so do you know what? I made do. There you go, it happens. And then I'm just going to stamp the wording, do something creative every day, in the middle there. Just line that up, hopefully that'll be straight. Oh, actually that isn't very straight, but you know what, it doesn't matter because it's kind of creatively wonky. Well, either that, or you can always stamp it on a separate piece of card, cut it out, or use a punch, and then you can layer it up straight. That's my other solution. So the last piece that we're going to do is the reverse of our card, and on the reverse you'll see here I have just stamped very faintly the scissors on the edge of that. So I'm actually going to do it in the Peekaboo Peach because I've just inked up in Peekaboo Peach, but I'm not going to re-ink, I'm not going to use full strength ink on this. So I'm just going to stamp off, so stamp it once, then checking the orientation, it is that way. I'm just going to stamp those scissors down the edge there. And obviously you can make this pattern as much, you know, as you want. So there we go. And again, you can colour those in if you wanted. You can just leave it blank. But once you've stamped that, then just come in, and we're just adhering it flat on the back there. Because of the zigzag, there are a few layers, so I wouldn't want to put this up on dimensionals on the back. But you can just pop that on the reverse there. So now we're ready to do some colouring in. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways that we can colour with this. First one is the one you've seen me use already. Now, what I've actually got here, which I've seen another demonstrator do recently, is I've actually got rubbing alcohol in here rather than water. And actually I'm finding it works much better because it dries so much more quickly. You don't get it absorbing into the card as much. So I suspect that my aqua painter will become my rubbing alcohol painter. And as long as you empty it out afterwards, you should have no issues with that. When it comes to colouring our pencils and pens, you've got two options. You can either use an aqua painter, or you can use our stamping markers. And I find that for fine work, really the markers are absolutely perfect. So you've got two nibs on here. You've got the brush one, so for large areas that works really well, and then for detailed areas or for writing you've got this fine tip as well. Now, depending on how careful you are, if I zoom in slightly there, see the horrible mess I'm making, but anyway, you can just come in and you can actually manage to do it with the brush tip as well. I personally prefer the brush tip because I find that I can be a bit scratchy with the other one, but the other end is obviously perfect for line drawing or for writing. So Peekaboo Peach, and then I'm just going to do some stripes. Hopefully get this right, alternate here. Now if you could see me, you'd see me peering with my glasses. I do wear varifocals, but I'm overdue a prescription check, and I suspect that I really probably need to get them done. So usually what I actually do is take my glasses off and end up peering with it up close to me. So you can't, hopefully you're not getting a shot of my head, and if you are, I sincerely apologise. There we go. So I've done that. I used Emerald Envy on the previous one, but obviously I'm using sort of Peekaboo Peach here, but I'm just going to coordinate with some little bit of Flirty Flamingo. The beauty of Stampin' Up! Colours is that you know, you really have lots of fun with them, doing different colour combinations. I've just taken inspiration from the In Colours, and as I said, it was the fact that actually I'd got I had got lots of I'd got projects that I was doing in the middle of a field, so my colour palette was limited. So you will see quite a few projects recently using the In Colours, because basically that's what I had available. And you know what? It works, you know. It's sometimes actually working with a limited palette can be quite refreshing. But I did deliberately choose colours that were in the DSP. So when I knew I was going to be away, then I thought, right, well, if I'm actually going to be in the middle of a field for a couple of days, I better make sure that I've got colours that go together. So I used this sort of eclectic DSP as my inspiration, and really just sort of took all the colours from them, just spotting some little bits of white where I'm rushing to do this. So it's probably taking a bit longer. I might have to try and learn how to speed up my videos so you can do this. And I know a lot of people don't like watching videos for more than 10 minutes. I try and make mine quicker, but I'm not quite so good at that. And I also, I quite like, personally, to see things in real time. I like to know how long it's going to take me to make this card from start to finish. I mean, obviously it'll take you very marginally longer because of the fact that I've pre-measured some of this card. Anyway, so there we go. So there's our pens. And the last thing to do is to do our brushes. So you're going to do it in exactly the same way. You're either going to come in with an aqua painter and paint these, and literally what I did was I just kind of went in and kind of went, right, what colour haven't I used next to each other? Then I sort of popped that away, and I came in and kind of went, right, okay, I've used Peekaboo Peach, so right, okay, let's go for some Flirty Flamingo, and I cut the pencils in like that with Flirty Flamingo. And then I thought, right, well, I haven't really used anything with Emerald Envy, and you know, I didn't plan it at all. Now maybe I should have done, maybe it would have been more effective had I done so. I don't know. I think sometimes we can, you know, get a bit hung up with making it all perfect. Sometimes it's just a bit of fun. And then finally, what I did was I came in with my early espresso to do the brush tips. And again, I just used an aqua painter. And then just came in. I possibly made those a little dark this time. Perhaps thin that a little bit with your colour, make it a little lighter. But you get the idea. And then all that's left to do is to pop those up onto our panels. So this one here goes onto a panel that's 8 by 6.5, 2.5 by 3 1/8 inches. And that I did pop up onto dimensionals. Like so. These ones just went flat, as I said before, not to put too much. Oh, I need to do a pen bit. Perhaps I'll do a puddle of ink for that one. And the one on the front, likewise, like so. And then to centre this panel, what I did was I made sure that I folded the card up and then centred it, like